That's why I called this place Sunflower Hill, because while there's snakes, there are also sunflowers. Hello friends, welcome to Sunflower Hill. I'm Tina and I am a single mum homesteading in southern Australia in Victoria. Today I'm just, and this is home of the interrupting rooster, because any roosters I breed end up wandering around the place. So there's quite a few roosters wandering around, interrupting endlessly. Anyway, today I'm just going to give you a quick little video, just a bit of an update on how the veggies are going down here in the pumpkin growing area. I'll wait. And also just a quick look at my sunflowers, because this year I have made a special effort not just to grow sunflowers, but to grow really pretty special colourful ones. So I'm going to give you a little look at those. One of them, the really big one, hasn't come out yet, that hasn't flowered. I'll add that into another video further down the track. It's a little bit windy today, but that's okay. Main concern is we've got a few fires in the area, so I'm just keeping an eye on those as well. So I thought I'd give you a quick little update video anyway. I have got some longer ones that I will pop out, but let's have a look at the sunflowers. And before we look at the sunflowers, the reason I grow them is because the first, probably, oh goodness, the first few years I was here, but certainly, probably the first 5 years I was here, but certainly the first few were extremely tough. There was a lot of tiger snakes and it was pretty scary. There were a lot of other things that went on as well. There were fires and all sorts of stuff. It was a pretty scary time. But I grew these enormous sunflowers, and that's why my profile picture for this channel is my face with a sunflower, because that to me was a representation that this place can grow sunflowers as well as produce snakes and bushfires and scary stuff, and I was working so hard. So the sunflowers kind of became a symbol of I guess not even just hope, but the good things that are inherent with this place, as well as the difficult things and with my journey here. So hence the name Sunflower Hill, and hence sunflowers being quite important. I'm a real sunflower kind of person. All right, let's go and have a look at the sunflowers now. Well, this is why it's called Sunflower Hill. I do usually grow sunflowers. There weren't any at all last year, but this year I've kind of gone all out and got some really pretty ones. I'm not sure which ones they are, but they're down here in my bottom garden in the pumpkin growing area, and that looks a bit messy. It has been mown around the growing bits. Oh, I'm tired, but there's a bit more weeding to do. But there's also sunflowers. So yeah, snakes in the compost, but also sunflowers, and that's why I called this place Sunflower Hill, because while there's snakes, there are also sunflowers. So these are some of the pumpkins that we planted a few weeks ago. Planted late, but they've really taken off, which is great. And this is a giant sunflower, so that's still growing, but it's got a flower. There's some tomatoes which are starting to really crack on, which is great. Already getting flowers. I mean, by already, I know that a lot of people, or most people, probably already have fruit starting on their tomatoes, and you know, a lot of people have been posting on Facebook with their zucchinis, etc. But I spent the time over winter when I would have been getting things started, instead working on the bus. I just didn't have anywhere to start them until the bus was done. But I've got buckwheat, and they're certainly taking off now. Everything's taking off, even these little trees which I planted, little they've got new growth on them. That's great. These are little seed grown trees. They're a red peach that my friend's daughter gave me some seeds of. She just ate the peaches she has them growing. They're her tree, and she gave me some of the fruit and seeds. So everything's going pretty well now that it's taken off. It's going pretty well, and we've had some really good growing weather. It's not my favourite kind of weather personally. It's warm and not had a huge amount of rain, but we've had some here and there. We haven't had anything like what the rest of the state seems to have had, but I've been watering. My sprinkler has been in action. And the plants are taking off now, which is great. And I also have things like this, which seems like a weed, but the chickens absolutely love it, and they'll get a good feed off that. Some of the buckwheat is starting to form and dry off. This, I think the plant's been wrecked at some point. That doesn't look too good. But anyway, it looks like we'll get pumpkins. What usually happens, this is a female flower and that's not been pollinated. There's just not enough out to pollinate yet. So this is what usually happens. It's pretty normal. You usually get a heap of flowers that don't work, and then you'll start getting ones that do. And that usually happens a little bit later in the season, I've noticed. You can certainly hand pollinate as well, which I may do at some point. These are male flowers. Very easy to tell the difference. So these are all male flowers. I'm just going to show you. You can see that's just a flower, and the female flower actually has the little fruit at the base. It's actually an ovary at this point, but it's very obviously a fruit, which is that bit there. So very easy to tell male from female flowers with pumpkins and squashes and zucchinis, the cucurbit family. Alright, so this is a male flower, and you simply just pick the male flower. Now these are not, you'd want ones that are a little bit fresher, but this will show you what to do and what I mean. All you do is pull off the, and this is wet inside. You wouldn't normally do it when it's wet inside. It was raining last night. You need to pull off the petals, and these ones are a bit soggy, but even so, they're absolutely delicious. Make sure you eat those. And here you've got the stamen. That's where all of the pollen is on there. And usually when it's dry, it shouldn't look like this. It should look powdery with a thick orange sort of powder on it. And that is the pollen. You want to get that pollen onto the anther of the female flower. So you need to just pull off the petals in order to get that into the female flower. All right, now let's have a walk around again. The female flower that's ready at the moment is not exactly in the right stage where I would pollinate it, but it's good enough where I can show you what to do. Let's go around the other side. Okay, so this is a female flower. Again, you can see this is just a mini pumpkin. At the moment, this is an ovary, and it contains all of the potential seeds. And inside here, now I might actually pull this off, because when you actually want to pollinate it is when the flowers actually open, but there's just aren't any open today, and I want to just put this video out. So you need to open this, pretend it's all nice and fresh and that this is a fresh flower. You need to open the flower, and inside there you can see the receptive part of the female flower. So that there is the receptive part of the female flower. That's the style, the stigma. So all you have to do, imagine that the flower is still, the petals are still where they are, is just brush the pollen onto that female part there. That's all. and then in a flower that this has either been pollinated or not. It's too late now, but a couple of days ago it would have been receptive. So that's all you do. You literally just brush the pollen onto the stigma of the flower and then just leave it be. I did one up there and it seems to have taken, so that's really good. Okay, so this one I did a couple of days ago, and you can see that the flower is now falling off. The petals and the actual flower part are falling off. I think this is pollinated. It looks pretty good. If it's not pollinated, you'll see that'll all wrinkle. Now this obviously is a zucchini. It's not a pumpkin, but you can tell it still looks really good. This looks nice and pale green. It's all firm and sort of looks, you know, well watered. It's not drying up. So that probably took. That's when I hand pollinated. And the other thing is that you can pollinate zucchinis with pumpkins and vice versa. The only time you want to be careful what you use is if you're going to keep the seed to save seed to grow. But otherwise, it doesn't really matter anything in the cucurbit family. So squashes, zucchinis, pumpkins, they can all cross-pollinate just so you can get the fruit. Doesn't matter which one you use. And I'll just take you around here again and show you a young female flower that will be ready in a few days. So this one here is the next female flower on this zucchini, and you can see again at the base, this is the ovary at the moment, and that's what's going to develop into the zucchini. This is a few days off opening, and as soon as it opens and looks nice and fresh, grab yourself a fresh male flower. Make sure there's lots of pollen on it. Not like this. This is if it's like this, if it's soggy and you can't see any pollen, then don't use that one. This is just to demonstrate what it looks like. Yeah. Okay, so this is a female pumpkin flower that was not pollinated. You can see what I mean. It's all shriveled. It just falls off and it just shrivels up like that. And you can just tell pretty quickly when they're not pollinated. They won't start developing unless they've got at least one viable seed. Obviously that would be a massive waste of energy for the plant, so they haven't evolved to do that. They've evolved to be triggered to develop by being pollinated. And that's really all there is to it. It's pretty simple. Have a go. Can't do any wrong because, you know, there's so many male flowers on these plants. There's lots more male flowers than females usually. Another thing to know is that you usually get a few male flowers for maybe a week or two before you'll get the females. So don't stress about that. The females will appear. Give it a crack. Can't go wrong. If it doesn't work, the bees might do the job for you. Tip. So this is actually one that has pollen on it, and you can see that it's, oh, I did wet that, but you can see the powdery, thick, sort of powdery orange coating on that anther. So that's what you're looking for. In the male, that's the male flower. So although the veggies are very late this year, fruit's going super well. These figs are enormous. I don't even know what variety the tree is. I just, I think, took a cutting from somewhere, and I've had that for years. But yeah, it's growing enormous fruit now, and these sugar plums are just delicious. It's the first year that both of these trees have had a lot of fruit, you know, a considerable crop, and the fig tree is only small, but its fruit is incredible. I'll put some pictures in of the inside. It's really, really jammy and red and sweet. Just so yummy. I'm really keen on figs. I'm planting a lot more figs. Different variety. This one's a teddy bear. Very cute. Almost looks like a chrysanthemum, doesn't it? But it's not. It's a sunflower. Don't have very good associations or memories with chrysanthemums, particularly these fancy ones. Childhood stuff. But I like sunflowers very much. Okay, so that's about it for now. I will update you guys as this beautiful guy opens. This is a giant sunflower, so it's going to be big. It will actually get much, much taller than this before the flower opens. And it only has one flower, whereas those more decorative, colourful ones have several smaller flowers, or a multitude of smaller flowers. They're still pretty decent sized flowers. I hope you enjoyed the update. If you haven't seen us planting, me and the kids planting this area up, I will link that video right at the end of this video. So just enjoy the little montage and the sunflowers, and then right at the end, or you can skip to the end if you want to do that. There's a link to the video where we planted all this area up. Okay friends, I hope life is treating you kindly, and I will see you soon. So it's hooroo from me, and it's hooroo from